Good morning, good morning. How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome. It's December 3rd, 2025. Welcome back. Thought we'd take some time together to take a look at the headlines, take a look at some charts, and see what has been transpiring since we last met yesterday morning. And so glad that you could join me again for this session. Got some Christmas music playing for us. Hope you guys are in the Christmas spirit. I sure am. We'll wait until everybody slowly starts to trickle in. I know it was last minute, but you know how we do things off the cuff here. Yahoo Finance, I use this a lot to look at the headlines. I've been using Yahoo Finance for quite some time. I think it's very helpful. I like the way that they, um, display the information. They've come a long way over the years, and it's pretty good. I like it. I like it. All right, let's dive into things, I guess. We'll let everybody else come in as they come in. So, Apple leadership shift marks a major reset in AI strategy. So there's some news about Apple, and I'd like to take a look at their chart. I don't think we have taken a look at it for a little bit, but I was looking at this one yesterday. Yeah, this one's setting up pretty nicely. So obviously we're at all-time highs here with Apple. Okay, we look historically, we've never seen Apple this high before. Okay, we had institutional demand that was created here, but price fell short of hitting that demand zone, and it's been taking off ever since. But if you take a look at the weekly chart, here's where I was looking for an entry long into Apple. This is where I wanted to get in long. It didn't come back down into that area, and it just took off. So now I'm looking at this area right here. Okay, big institutional buying zone taking place here on the weekly time frame. I'll be interested in this one if it coasts sideways before retracing, and then I'll be looking to enter into a long position there. So I have my alert set for that. So this is looking pretty good. Institutions are buying it. They're buying it in the $270 region. That's the last significant buying area that they've been accumulating shares of Apple. So I will wait until it drops into that area, because they will likely continue buying from that area again. Okay. So Apple's looking super good. U.S. stocks futures edge up with jobs data on deck. Okay, so we were looking at that yesterday, and not much has transpired since. We still have this dynamic here on the weekly time frame, okay, with major institutional demand coming in here. All right, if we look across the board, right, remember this area? I showed it to you yesterday. I showed you that this was the buying area of the big institutions, and look what happened. They came in and they bought exactly as I said they would. Okay, so it's been upside ever since. Now, I was also pointing out to you yesterday this big institutional supply zone that we are contacting right now. We previously contacted it here, which caused price to drop down. We're now back into this area. What we're waiting for is for this to be removed. Once that area gets removed, this is going to be, big momentum to the upside. And as I was mentioning before, there's going to be institutional demand coming in on this area. So any pullbacks to this area in the future, I'll be looking to enter into a long trade. Okay, so markets are looking bullish. We got some short-term supply that needs to be taken out, but I'm not too concerned about that. That should be taken out soon. Google as well, we should be paying attention to. And Google is on fire lately, okay? On fire. And I shared with you the zone that I'm looking for, okay, right here. And that's on the weekly time frame. Now, what's interesting is you look at Apple, it's got a similar zone, right, on the weekly time frame, and Google has got that zone on the weekly time frame. Big institutional buying. So these are two great areas where I'm going to be looking for long trades to get into this market. Okay. Now, do I like the fact that its price is way up there after a significant move? Not really. I don't like buying after a major move up like this. Okay. But this is a major demand area, and as long as we see buying taking place off of that area, there's no reason why this can't continue to go up higher. But at some point, we're going to have to be very careful. At some point, this is going to retrace, all right? It's like silver. Maybe we'll take a look at silver later on. We've got to be careful with silver because silver is very hot right now. It's moving up, but, we did some analysis this past Monday, and, in our class, we were talking about, this price level that silver is reaching right now, and it's we may begin to see some major profit taking on silver. So we got to be careful with that. There are ways to trade it, but you got to be careful. You can't have massive upside targets. Okay. What else do we got here that I wanted to talk about? Macy's is on the news. Earnings, Macy's falls after Q3 profit beat. Macy's falls after the third quarter profit beat. Let's check that one out. You might be saying, why would that happen? Well, yeah, it was, let's see. So it came out this morning, profit beat. It is declining. All right. Let's check out the charts. Not the greatest looking chart. Oh yeah, I don't really like to trade charts that look like this. It's very difficult to determine momentum and direction for a sustainable amount of time. So we're seeing a drop here, but I wouldn't even be trading this one anyways. So I would be staying clear of this one. They do pay a nice dividend though, 4.3%. That's not bad. 4.3%, but price action is just terrible. Just terrible. No, I would not trade it. Okay, I would stay away from that. Salesforce stock historically cheap as AI risk takes a toll. Let's see, CRM. All right, so I see what's going on here. It looks like there is a potential for some buying, but I wouldn't be interested in this one unless it was down here in this area. Okay? As you can see, we had demand here on the monthly time frame, but look what just happened. We just broke through this area. If the institutions were focused on buying this stock, they would have bought here and shot price up, but they're not interested. And we know that because they're removing their buying area, okay? And this could be because they want to retrace price down to areas where they do feel like it's a good place to buy. And we can locate that area by examining the higher time frames. Okay, here's the big imbalance here. Okay, so it's likely price is going to drop down to this area, 160 area, give or take. All right, so I wouldn't be buying Salesforce unless it got down here, and then I saw some new institutional buying coming in off that area. All right. Okay. Bitcoin, 2-week high. Yeah, we were talking about Bitcoin. Let's zoom over to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, fellas, you see what's happening? Okay. You guys see the magic of locating institutional buying and selling? You see it? Okay. The reason why I've been pointing this out to you guys is because I want you guys to see what's going on here. and how important it is to locate institutional buying and selling. If you can locate institutional buying and selling, then you know what's going on. Look where price dropped from. Okay, you see your price? Look, institutional selling, price rallied up. Why did it rally up to here? Well, that was the initial buying. Okay, folks, this is institutional buying taking place here. These areas here. Okay, this is institutional buying right here and here. Let's just copy it like that. Okay, this is institutional buying happening here. Institutional buying. That's not what I want. So they have been buying on these drops in price. And if we take a look at RSI, we can see RSI is very weak. Okay. Now RSI, you're going to ask yourself, well, what does RSI tell us? Well, you know, the conventional way RSI is used is we look at where it is and we see it's oversold, right? And then we look for divergence, like if price came further down here and it was a higher RSI, you'd say, oh, there's going to be a reversal. Okay, this is how it's used conventionally, but we use it completely different here at White Oak University. All right, and we've been gathering a lot of incredible information about how we use RSI in combination with the supply and demand analysis that we do in the Sherlock analysis process. And so what we know is that we're expecting price to reverse from this spot, okay? We're expecting price to reverse from here, okay? And there's going to be a couple signals that are going to be produced when price reverses, okay? Now remember, I have a deadline here. After doing some analysis with students, we came to the conclusion that there was a deadline we had of December 11th. And what does that deadline mean? Well, we suspect there's a very good chance the breakout to the upside is going to happen, give or take, around December 11th on Bitcoin. And once this shoots up, we suspect that it's going to shoot up and it's going to go quite aggressively to the upside, okay? But price isn't just going to come into an institutional demand zone and then reverse on a dime. It takes time. So these rallies are showing us the buying that's taking place by the institutions. Okay, this is buying here. Remember we had the drop? Yeah, instigated by the institutions, followed by retail offloading their positions to the banks buying. Okay, and now they're buying again, right? I suspect that there's going to be another drop. Okay, the reason why I suspect this is because when we look at the RSI is still weak. What we want is another drop, but the RSI to settle at around 40. Okay, if it settles around 40, then the next move to the upside is going to be the explosive move. Likely, not 100%, but very high odds. Okay, we've been testing this out for several months now, and it's incredible just how accurate it is. Okay, we're combining a lot of different concepts and principles that we teach here at the school, and it's just been working out quite miraculously. So this is what we're watching for on Bitcoin. So I don't think it's done just yet. And as you can see on the daily time frame, we're rallying up into a supply zone here. Okay. So if there's any spot where we're going to see that reaction to the downside, it's probably going to be from that supply. Probably. It could fall short of it and drop, sure. But if there was going to be an area, it would be this area here, okay? Which tells me we could still rally up to 94,000 before we see the short-term drop, okay? So keep your eyes on that, my friends. Let me see. Is there a way to make the text in this circle? Yes, there is. I love this software. Trading view is just absolutely incredible, isn't it? It really is. It really is. They've done a really good job on this software. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Look at that. Really good. All right, so let's take a look at the other headlines. What do we got? So there it is, Bitcoin, MSTR. We can't do one without the other. MSTR. What did I tell you? Price is coming down into an institutional buying zone. Remember I said that? Look, here's the institutional buying zone. Look at the reaction. Are you shocked? You're not shocked. I know a lot of people are shocked. Just surf through social media and you'll see what people are saying. They're like, oh, this stock is done for. This guy's crazy. You know, listen, don't pay attention to all that stuff. Pay attention to what's happening on the charts. Price is coming into a major institutional buying zone. Okay. Do I know for a fact price is going to rally up from here? No, I don't know for a fact. No. I know that there's a very good, very, very good chance that we see them start to accumulate a position here. Okay. But we don't know it for a fact. And once again, you know, we can watch the daily chart just like we are doing on Bitcoin and take a look. Okay. We've just contacted the demand here. And look where RSI is. Very, very weak. So for there to be an accumulation here, they're not just going to do this. Okay? That's not how it works. They won't do that. The chances of just that happening is very low. It's going to be a rally, a drop. Okay? And then, all right? They're accumulating, 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 accumulating until it does that. That's what they will do. Okay. And, you know, if you take a look at my chart, you'll see I labeled the last institutional selling area on the daily time frame. Why the daily time frame? The daily time frame is the one you should be watching for right now. Most traders have zero clue about that. And I'm telling you this because I know for a fact this is the chart to be watching. Okay. Because we contacted a monthly area of demand. If you want to watch momentum shift from a monthly zone, you watch the daily. That's just the rule. We've been following that rule for years, and it has been working like a charm. Okay. So this is the chart you have to be watching for. And I'm telling you now, before it plays out, so you see exactly the logic. So you understand what it is that we're watching for on this chart, okay? But this is the chart you need to be watching for, the daily time frame. Watch for the momentum. I'm telling you now, so that when you see it happen, you're learning something from it, okay? Just like Bitcoin, I told you when it was 94,000, it was going to drop into demand. They were going to start accumulating, and it was going to shoot up, right? A lot of people, when it was 94,000 and it started to drop, they were telling you all sorts of nonsense. I was one of the only guys that was telling you where it was going to drop to, how it was going to react, and how it was going to move to the upside. So if you want tomorrow's headlines, next week's headlines, and you want them now, follow this channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification too. If you guys are following me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, hit the notification bell, because a lot of times my tweets are not going to get to your feed or get to your eyes unless you have that notification bell, okay? All right, let's look at what else we got here. So we looked at Bitcoin. Fed data suggests central bank has stopped losing money. Funny. Macy's, we looked at Macy's. Amazon, Nvidia. Let's take a look at them. Amazon, last time I checked, it's okay. It doesn't look very great, okay? Doesn't look very great. But it looks like we have big institutional buying taking place here at this level. Okay, you see that? 3 times we came down to this area. This is the 215, 210 area. Okay. Only thing is that if you take a look, see my long-term target, guys? I don't know if you're seeing this, but do you see how price hit it? You may be thinking, he put this long-term target after price reacted. He must have, because it just looks too good to be true. No, this target was there before. And if you were a student following my videos and the classes that we do, you would have known that. We put this target there a long time ago. We're looking at structure. We're looking at what the banks did. Where did they buy before and where did they take it? Where are they buying now and what does that mean? Where is it? Where are they likely going to take it? That's what we're doing. We're just looking at what the big banks have been doing and forecasting where they're going to take price. And it's incredible just how accurate, right? These areas, when they get contacted, these are our targets because we suspect the banks will take profits on their positions when they reach them. So on the weekly time frame, our target, long-term target, has been reached. The profit has been taken. Now it's just a matter of, will they continue to buy from this level and push price higher? We don't know that for a fact if they will or not. So there's some inherent risk involved in trading this at this time. Okay, look, okay, profit taking. This is why I put this gentleman here. Okay, this is to represent the bankers taking profits on Amazon. So when I look at this chart, I can think, clearly, I know exactly what's going on. The bankers are taking profits on Amazon, okay? Because they were acquiring Amazon shares at 150. And then here again at 150, and then 180. Then they brought it down, okay? They held it, the banks held it at 180. They bought here, and then again here on the lower time frames. So this was a nice accumulation. Eventually they're going to take profits, okay? This is just what they do. They don't just keep buying forever. They take profits and then they wait until it comes down to a lower price and then they start buying again, right? So the fact that Amazon has just, gone through this cycle of profit taking, I'm not in a rush to be buying this stock, okay? I'll hold up because there's a good chance we may see a bigger move to the downside and there's a good chance that it could start buying. Because I don't know which one, I'd rather just stay on the sidelines. What I'll wait for is for them to show me what they're doing. And when I see clear evidence that they're going to start buying again, then I'll find that buying zone and I'll buy alongside with them. Otherwise, if I don't see anything clear, I'm not trading it, okay? So we can go to Nvidia too. I don't see anything very good looking on Nvidia. We covered this one yesterday. Daily time frame, we had that range. It took out demand. This is not good, okay? In fact, I can leave a little note here for myself like that. Daily demand within the range has been removed. So we need to see new institutional buying before we get involved here. Okay, there you go. Every time I look at this chart, boom, that will come up. All right, so let's see. What else do we got here? We covered Amazon copper. Copper hits fresh record on rising risk. Okay, let's take a look at copper. We don't typically look at copper together, but I do have it here somewhere. Where are you? Here it is. Copper futures. Yeah. So let's see. Coming up towards supply. This looks pretty good. The monthly chart looks good. New institutional buying coming in down this area here. Weird location. If price was to come down there, it likely wouldn't hold, so that's not reliable. A weekly chart, we had a significant area here. Oh, look at that. That was not a nice opportunity right here to get in long. We had this area here, taken out here. This was a key zone that I marked. Now we have demand in play. Let's see if there was a daily zone here. So I like to mark the zones that have been contacted. Let's see. Oh, I have to move it on both my bars. Okay, I gotcha. So weekly has been contacted right there. Weekly demand. Let's take a look at this. Obviously, we have a major imbalance here. So this would be a key supply zone for me. need to be removed for upside. Okay, like that. And wow, look at that. Look at that on the lower time frame. How that came into play so nicely. So this could be a good buying situation here. This gets taken out. Buying comes into play. As it's removed, a retracement to the buying area, and then we jump on board. That could work out really well. And the reason why I'd be looking at the daily time frame is because we already have the support of the higher time frame buying here. Okay. All right. Does that make sense? We have the support of the higher time frame buying taking place from the lows here. So there's going to be strong bullish pressure here on the chart. So medium-term buying taking place here, and then short-term buying to continue with the medium-term buying, all right? So this could work out quite well. Looks very good, okay, for that. So I would keep this on my watch list. In fact, let me add it now on my trending watch list. Good stuff. All right. All right, what else do we have before we wrap up? I'll look at your comments and questions at the end of this session before I let you guys go. Copper surges, interest rate, and credit card concerns, U.S. stock, futures edge higher, Bitcoin, Macy's, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, everybody's talking about it this morning, so let's take a look at it. Crowd. Okay, what's the news? We got some good earnings. I see what's going on. Good earnings, and we just are reacting from institutional demand. A nice one too on the weekly time frame. This is good. Yeah, this is good. Okay, again, I like to mark these areas and send them to all the charts so that I could see where that buying is coming into place. Okay, so we have some nice buying here happening. Let's do some adjustments here. Factor in the institutional buying and selling that was taking place here. All right, so we have buying taking place here. Okay. 10, okay. So we have buying taking place here in the higher time frames. So how do we know that they're going to continue buying? That's the question, right? So we look at the chart and we can see, you see how we had this area here, okay, that took price to all-time highs, okay? It was a big, big move here, right? But when price came down into this area, it didn't hold. Notice that? It didn't hold. It pushed lower. Why? Because it wanted to come down into the big institutional buying area that was down here. Okay, so it did, and now it's coming back up. But if you pay attention, you'll see that there was selling here. You see this big drop? This is where the selling came down from, right? So there must have been selling, because if there was previous buying and the selling took over that buying on the short-term time frame, right? Daily time frame, then there has to be buying that comes back into this market if there's going to be the rally up from institutional buying here, okay? Because we suspect with institutional buying coming in here on the medium term, there should be a continued move to the upside. So immediately we'll be paying attention to this area here, okay? As you can see, we already reacted once to this area of supply, and now we're inside of the supply, all right? You see how this works? So we're inside that area of supply now. If this is going to go higher, it has to remove this area of supply. And then we're going to be paying attention to see what kind of institutional buying is going to take place. And if they produce a nice institutional buying zone, then pullbacks to the buying zone is the long signal. All right? That's what we're going to be doing. So, crowd looks pretty decent. Could it retrace to higher time frame demand zones? Yeah, it could. And if it were to get down to this 400, 450 area, it would be it would also be a good spot to get in. Okay. Marvell, MRVL. Let's check it out. And then I'll read your comments and go through your questions. Marvell. Let's take a look here. Very interesting, very interesting, very interesting. Yeah, we had a zone here. And this got taken out here. It's holding here. It looks like we got another area here to contend against. Right here. So this place would this area would need to be removed. Major institutional selling took place here. This area has to be removed for upside. Needs to be removed. How about that? That should fit. Okay. And that's it. You set your alerts. If you're interested in buying Marvell, okay, you don't just buy, you have to wait until there's proof that the institutions are buying it. And then when there's proof of that, then you buy alongside with them. Okay. If you ride the coattails of the big institutions, you'll make money. If you go against them, you'll lose money, because it doesn't matter if earnings are good or the headlines are good. If the banks are selling it and you're buying it, you're going to lose money, period. Okay. All right, my friends. Let's see. Any comments? Question: when charting stocks, why not use the custom 24-hour time frame with extended hours instead of the daily, so you can get all the data with no gaps? The custom 24 hours, you mean switching my 1 hour time frame session to extended trading and seeing everything? To me, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. Okay. I want to see regular trading. Okay. The big moves take place during regular trading hours. On the daily time frame, I'm perfectly fine with looking at the chart the way it is. I don't need to see a 24-hour chart. It's unnecessary. Okay. If you're buying alongside the banks and the big institutions, you don't have to worry about gaps going against you and all that stuff. In all my years of trading, I think only one time a market gapped against me, against a position that I had, and it was like some crazy reason. I can't even remember, but it was just so whack job. So if you're trading alongside the banks, you don't need to worry about gaps really, because the banks know what they're doing before they do it. Okay. It takes them a long time to enter into positions, and if they're going to accumulate a long position, they know why they're accumulating a long position. Major profit taking on gold. Let's take a look at gold. Yeah, I think there's a very good chance of that. Yeah. We don't have the CFTC data completely updated yet, but it's on its way. But we suspect that they're profit taking on gold. We have that range on the daily time frame. Macy's has been down for many years now. The last time I seen that price was around $5 a share. Yeah, wouldn't touch that right now. Good morning. Can you please revisit DUOL? DUOL. Yeah, I am holding this one, Duolingo. I entered into position. I gave the exact details to members, and it's based on the fact that we have a major institutional buying zone in play. We briefly spiked through it, so I'm taking the risk that the spike through is going to be only an event-driven spike, and not institutional trading. So average hedge fund price is 241. I'm below that price, and I'm holding this for the longer term. Okay. These ups and downs short term mean nothing to me. I hold my position and I don't move it until either it rallies or I get stopped out, period. Okay. I hope it rallies, but it could play out either way. I don't put all my eggs in one basket, so I have my money spread across many different assets where big institutional buying is taking place. The vast majority of the times, these zones are going to hold, but there are times where they won't hold. Okay, so it's just a matter of playing the odds. All right, I think that is it. We went what, 40 minutes again, like we did yesterday. Very good. If this session was helpful, I hope it was. But let me know if it was helpful. Great. Hit the like button. I always appreciate that. Your support means a lot. Help get the word out to other people so that they can see the Sherlock analysis process for themselves, and hopefully, they can um, they can improve their trading, or just help the decisions that they're making on a daily basis by the information that we provide to them. Okay. Anyways, it was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed these sessions. And arrivederci. Come and join us in the Telegram channel if you want more information. All right. You take care, everybody. Have a good one. So long.